You're watching Adorama TV.
Hi everybody, welcome to Adorama TV. I'm Mark Wallace. Well, today we're going to talk about a battery pack. It's called the Profoto BatPac, and this guy is pretty amazing. Now, this is a pack that is made specifically for professional photographers. It is a little expensive. It's $1,736. And let me tell you why it is the top of the line battery pack. Now, it's called the BatPac because it is in a package that looks like a backpack, and so you can put this on your shoulders and carry it around. And it's got all kinds of attachments here, so if you have to put this over your shoulder if you're shooting on location, it's got a strap that allows you to do that. It's got a little strap here on the top. But let's get inside this and see exactly what the goodness is all about. Now, this is designed, it's from Profoto. It's designed to work specifically with Profoto gear, but it works with all kinds of stuff. But it's optimized specifically for the Profoto D1 series of lights, but it also works with compacts and the Acute 2 flash equipment like we have here, and it can be used with all kinds of other things. In fact, I'm going to show you that you can use this to run an Arri Studio Cool or Lowell light, all kinds of different things. In fact, you can charge this up and use it to charge things like laptops. You can use it to use wind machines in the studio, maybe a small refrigerator, constant light sources. In fact, I have a friend in New York during the hurricane. He actually took this to his house, and all of his neighbors around him for a couple days didn't have power, and he powered all of his essentials right off the BatPac, and so that's pretty awesome. Now, this guy here, let me just walk you through how it works, and I'll show you, turn on some of these things. It's got this little thing that looks like a Russian launch key, and this is to make sure that you don't accidentally turn on the battery and run it down while you're zipping along down the road going to your location. But inside here you can see that we have two standard outlets, and then here is the key that goes right in here. Then you turn that, and that makes sure that it's engaged and you can turn it on. Now, let me take this out really fast to show you what the battery actually looks like. This is a sealed battery, and it's right in the front here. You can see that it's got this strap that holds it in, and it's got some nice cables on there. There are circuit protectors here, so there's fuses to make sure that nothing blows out. In fact, this is a very, very safe piece of equipment. It has protection against overcharge, short circuit, high temperatures, and low input voltages. And so it's got ground fault circuit interrupter protects, and so it protects all of your expensive gear. So you don't have to worry about plugging in something and worrying about, is it going to mess this thing up, because it won't. It's got all that protection built right in. Now, this thing is extremely high capacity. So with a D1 500 watt second head, you can get between, at full power, 600 flashes and more than 10,000 flashes at lower power settings. But let me just show you how amazing this is. So I'm going to put in my little key here, throw that on there. Now, this is an Arri Studio Cool, and this is made for continuous lighting. And watch this. I'm going to plug this right in here, and I'll turn on my BatPac, and you can see it's going to run a Studio Cool, no problem at all. So anything that's under 600 watts of power, it's going to be able to facilitate that. So let me turn that off. I'll show you a Lowell lamp over here. So the Lowell lamp is 200 watts of light. So I'll plug this guy in here, make sure my BatPac is turned on. You can see that I can run that as well. So that'll run for about 45 minutes, half an hour of continuous light on a full charge. And so you can see that this works just fine for continuous lighting, but it's really made for studio strobes. So let me do this. I'm going to plug in my 1200 watt second pack here. That's plugged in. This is turned on. I'll turn on my battery pack, or my Profoto pack here. Now, I've got this set to full power, just to sort of show you the refresh rates and what it takes. So I'm going to pop a flash here, and then we'll count to show you what the refresh rate is at full power. This is all 1200 watt seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 4 seconds at full power. Again, there's about 4 seconds. It's ready to go. Now, that's at full blast. Now, what I can do is take this and put it to more of a realistic power setting, and you can see it's going to go all day long. It's got a very nice refresh rate. In fact, if I took this down to really low power, it's got no problem at all keeping up with this Profoto pack. Now, what you'll notice if you're specifically an acute owner, what happens is if you're using a Pocket Wizard with the Pocket Wizard built in, there is one caveat to this, and that is with an acute pack, this really pulls a lot of power. So I'm going to put this back up to full power here and let that charge up. So what happens is if you're using a Pocket Wizard, it is going to have issues. And the reason for that is something sort of peculiar. So it pops that first one, but the next one is going to have issues. It's not going to work. And the reason for that is what's happening is this is pulling a lot of power into the pack. So normally when you have this plugged into a normal outlet in your house or in your studio, it's not going to have any issue just throwing in lots of power, and it refreshes very, very quickly. Well, with the battery pack, specifically the BatPac, this isn't able to throw that much power that quickly, and so the power input sort of drops on this pack. And when that happens, it puts the Pocket Wizard back into learn mode. And so once it learns the channel, as soon as the flash pops, the power drops a little bit as it's charging up, and this goes back into learn mode, and so you have to teach it over and over and over. So what we learned you could do is on the actual Profotos, there's a fast recharge and a slow recharge. So if you have it on slow recharge at the lower power rates, okay, so if you have this down to a low power consumption rate, you can actually teach that, and it's going to work just fine. But up in the higher outputs, up at 1200 watt seconds, it doesn't work. And so we called Profoto and said, hey, what is the deal with that? And they said, well, what you can do is you can have this upgraded, and it's about, I forgot, it's about $150, $200 to have this upgraded. And so what it does is it fixes that internal Pocket Wizard issue when using the BatPac. So if you're using an acute pack with the Profoto pack, you may need to contact Profoto to have your Pocket Wizard upgraded so that doesn't happen. And that's the only caveat we really ran across with the BatPac. Now this thing is, again, as I said, it's really high output, so you can drive a 1,000 watt halogen lamp for, 100 watt halogen lamp for about 45 minutes. You can get up to about 10,000 flashes at low power on a D1. What we did is we actually took this out on location and shot for quite a while, and we just never ran out of power, so we're not really sure how long it will go because we never ran out of juice. Now this is extremely rugged and durable. Now the battery, as I showed you before, it's a sealed battery and it's exchangeable. Now these recycle times, anywhere from 4 seconds on this. If you're running a D1 pack, specifically a 500 in the lab, we found it was about 1.6 seconds at full power down to 1/3 of a second at the lower power. And again, it's got 2 standard power outlets. Now there is a CE version, 230 volts for Europe and overseas. So that's available in addition to the US power outlet. Now the other thing that's really cool, speaking of travel, is there's a multi-voltage charger that comes with this guy. So this, you just plug it into a wall, and then you plug this in and it will charge up. It takes a little while to charge. It can take up to a few hours. Now this guy here not only works in the United States, but you can just take this off, and then you've got all these different adapters. So depending on where you are in the world, you can have all these wacky looking adapters here. So there's this guy here, there's the, all the European different versions. So those just slide on there, and then you can plug that into different power outlets. So this travels really well. Now speaking of travel, how much does it weigh? Well, it's just under 25 pounds, including the battery in the bag and all that kind of stuff. So it does weigh a little bit. And that's what you have assistance for, right? You can put this on their back. And again, this is a backpack, works just fine, and there's a shoulder strap. And so all of this stuff in the Profoto BatPac, $1,736. So if you're a heavy-duty location shooter and you need consistent power that's going to last a long time, well, this is the guy for you. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week at Adorama TV. Remember, if you have questions about photography gear, you can send those questions to me at askmark@adorama.com. I'll see you again next week.
This episode is brought to you by Adorama TV. Visit the Adorama Learning Center, where you'll find photography tips and techniques, links to the gear used in this episode, and related videos. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. And the next time you're in New York City, visit our store, located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.